Hi friends, today we're in Bologna, Italy. It's a medieval city in the northern part of Italy, known for its food and its amazing medieval architecture. A lot of that I'm hoping to show you today. Bologna, the sandwich meat, comes from here. Also, Bolognese pasta sauce originates in the city. Today we're going to take a walk around the city center, see some of the sights you simply can't miss while on a trip here, and then, time permitting, we'll take a trip outside the city walls and I'll show you what the countryside of Bologna is all about. So that's it. Let's take a walk and see what we can find. On our first stop, we're here at the Grand Central Square of Bologna, called the Piazza Maggiore. The square is home to a grand church, a palace, and today surrounded by many coffee shops, restaurants all around the square. The church right behind me, it's actually a basilica. Construction started back in the 14th century, I believe, but it was never finished. If you look at it, the bottom, it's all white marble, is what it's supposed to look like. And if we look up the facade, it doesn't look good at all at the top. So still not finished to this day. Also in the square is the Neptune Fountain. This is a work of the Middle Renaissance, and at the time when it was constructed, this was considered extremely scandalous. Take a closer look and see if you can spot why. And now we're here at the Twin Towers of Bologna, a symbol of the city. These were built back in the 12th century by the two most powerful families in Bologna at the time. Some say in a competition to see who could demonstrate that they had the most wealth and power in the city. Today both of the towers are leaning. The smaller one is leaning at a 4-degree angle, which is actually more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Who knew that that was not the tower that leans the most in Italy? Back then they were built as defensive fortifications located on the old city walls, and then later on they were used as a prison. So a very cool side of Bologna. I had no idea that something that old could actually still be standing. Pretty amazing. And here we are outside of Porta San Donato, which is a gatehouse that used to be part of the original city walls and defenses built in the 14th century. This was the way to get into the city, and that tower you can see behind me was one of the primary defenses. It used to have a real-life drawbridge that went over the moat that surrounded the city. Unfortunately, that's gone today. Today it's part of the university district, so really that's the only historical thing that remains, but still pretty cool to see something like this still standing in the middle of the city. One of my favorite things to do is to walk down these small European streets. And today it's market day, and look, all of the stalls are filled with amazing food, seafood over here. Everyone's out shopping, picking up their groceries for the week. The atmosphere is simply amazing here. It's hustling, bustling, and this is exactly the kind of thing that I enjoy doing on a Saturday. Check it out. Walking around Bologna, it's still very evident that the city has always been a place of great wealth. You can tell from the great palaces that are still around and are in very good shape, the mansions where the nobles live, cities filled with parks, open spaces built centuries ago, and all of those kinds of things took money. And for a city-state during the Renaissance and the medieval period, these are the kinds of things that projected its power to the rest of the world. And I'm just very glad to see that a lot of those things are still on display, are in very good shape, and you can see them on your next trip here to Bologna. Typically, people think of Venice when they think of a city filled with canals, but Bologna also has its own canal system. It was built a long time ago, primarily for transportation purposes, and many of them have since been paved over, but a few are still visible right here in the city center. And here you can see a whole line of people actually lined up to take a look at a canal through a little window built into a wall. Hi friends, it's a beautiful morning here in Bologna, and I'm at the train station to take a ride down to the city of Ravenna. It's a beautiful place right outside of Bologna, and I'm going to meet a few friends there who are going to show me around. So let's take a ride on this train and see what it's all about. Friends, we're here in the Italian city of Ravenna. This place used to be the capital of the Western Roman Empire for over 200 years, and today many of its treasures still remain. I met up with a few friends who are going to show me around, and I'm going to take you along with me. So let's go, see what we can find. Up first is a small walking tour of the streets of Ravenna. The city center is crisscrossed with these tiny streets that are clearly very old and filled with tourists and locals just going about their daily business. Today, people still live here, with many local shops, restaurants, and boutiques occupying the first floors of the building, with living quarters right above them, which from the outside, I imagine have not changed all that much in centuries. Here, I get the feeling of being transported to another time. If it wasn't for all the parked cars, I could almost imagine this place back during the Renaissance. These streets filled with merchants and soldiers and girls carrying baskets of food, and the sounds of the daily life of the city just filling these streets. But at the same time, there's also a sense of tranquility here, of a slower pace to life. I see many people enjoying their daily cup of coffee, together with an actual newspaper. Some are just sitting out on their balconies and terraces, enjoying a breakfast and watching the city just walk by them. What an amazing escape from the congestion, traffic, and the constant hurry the majority of us always live in. Now this was a very pleasant surprise to find here in Ravenna. We are at the burial place of the great poet Dante. Dante's masterpiece, The Divine Comedy, was completed right here in Ravenna, where he spent the last years of his life in exile from Florence. Dante's remains lie here in an urn, and above it, a relief sculpture of Dante himself shows him in a very thoughtful pose, leaning over a lectern. Very fitting burial place for a man whose legacy truly echoed through the generations. Next to Dante's tomb is a very cool sundial. We're here at 12:55 p.m. and as you can see, it is extremely accurate. If there's one thing Ravenna is famous for, it's the Roman early Christian mosaics that cover the walls and ceilings of numerous churches and monasteries dating from the 5th and 6th centuries. Now these are simply stunning. The level of detail is so precise that from a distance they almost look like paintings. It's worth noting, nothing you see here in the next minute or so is a painting, but examples of these early Christian mosaics located in 3 separate locations: the Basilica of Saint Vitaly, a baptistry, and a mausoleum of a Roman emperor's daughter. These were painstakingly put together from pieces of colored glass and stone, made to shimmer in the light of candles. Standing here, the sheer amount of work that went into these walls and ceilings is simply staggering. All of these buildings are now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The throne of Archbishop Maximilian is a treasured piece of the local collection. Made from panels of solid ivory and depicting early Christian scenes, it's a work of immense skill and beauty. This place also has one of the best examples of a well-preserved Renaissance castles that I have ever seen. This thing comes with its own moat and a drawbridge that goes over that moat. Check it out, guys. As we enter the castle over the moat, a very unique scene opens in the central courtyard. It's home to a contemporary art installation, which seems to be composed of bronze knights locked in battle. But upon a closer look, most knights aren't using their conventional sword, if you catch my drift. I have to give it to the sculptor. The piece is certainly striking and unique. Not expecting to see it walking in, the wow factor is certainly there. The placement inside a real castle is genius. Bravo, my friend, bravo. And what's a trip to Italy without trying some of the amazing local cuisine, such as pasta and a little shot of grappa. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Well guys, our tour of Bologna is coming to a close. This place really gave me a feeling of being transported back in time. It has amazing treasures that are on display, and I'll definitely be back to see more of them. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.